So I'm here with my good friend Wesley Hicks. He's going to talk to us a little bit about beards, and I know we'll talk to you guys a little bit about how IT and beards correlate. So let's go ahead and get started. Wesley, thanks for being on the show with us here. Got a few questions about beards. How do you maintain your beard? I mean, that's a nice thick beard. Looks really good on you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I honestly I take pride in my beard. So some of the things that I do really just start with some basics, right? One, you got to be able to grow one. That's important.
Yeah.
But two, also a barber.
Okay.
Like instead of just always self maintenance, sometimes just having a good barber comes in. So for me, that's pretty key. And just going once a month or once every 2 months, even just to make sure it's all lining up the way that it needs to is good and it's healthy. Um, but really, the rest of it comes down to just self care.
Self care. Okay. So tell us a little bit about that. Do you use like some type of special conditioner, a wax?
Yeah, depending on what stage of hair growth you're in, right? You would actually use different types of product. So early on in the beard phase, it's itchy.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like I've tried
Yeah,
to grow it out, and I'm just sitting there going, I can't handle it.
yeah. So having the right type of beard wash matters, and the type of chemicals that are in it. If you
Okay.
use something that's got like a harsh chemical base or something like that, it actually doesn't help the itch. It makes it worse. So a lot of natural stuff, stuff with like essential oil infused,
Okay.
because it kind of replenishes some of the stuff within the skin, reduces the itch, but also still handles some of the care to remove dander and stuff like that out of it. So early on, a good beard wash. I mean,
Okay.
that's key. Later on, I mean, it's a nice perk, but you don't have to spend money on beard wash. Once it gets to a certain level, at that point, um, a good type of shampoo and conditioner really does benefit, and not necessarily something you might get at Walmart, but actually a higher quality product you might want to get from a salon or a salon distributor because that's going to have natural chemical bases that are healthier versus some of the more stringent type stuff that you find in in a local store.
Okay.
And that will dry you out and actually damage the hair. And once the hair is damaged, it's really difficult to maintain at that point.
I understand fully with my full
Yeah,
locks of hair here.
the
That's
flowing
important.
locks.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So it looks like yours is pretty well maintained. You
Mhm.
comb it, I assume, and brush it.
Yeah, and even that, something as simple as a brush or a comb, it's important to tie, right?
Okay.
A plastic brush, for example, creates static. So as you bring it through, it'll actually cause the hair to accumulate a little bit of static, like static electricity, and it's just not as healthy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so a bamboo comb.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Bamboo.
perfect. Yeah, like a wooden comb because it doesn't create the static, and bamboo is just easier to find. And even when it comes down to the brushes, so like the comb is great depending on what you're going for, but if you really wanted to smooth it, control it, and kind of make it do certain things, then a boar hair brush. So a brush made out of boar's hair
Okay.
is really good. I don't know why, but it is. It's better than some of the other brushes that you might get
Sounds like
somewhere
you've
else.
done a lot of research and troubleshooting with.
Yeah. Well, so when I first started, I always had really itchy beard, and it's so aggravating. So it get to a point, and it's just like I just can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, I've done that plenty of times. I get my
Yeah,
beard going and it gets, maybe a quarter inch long and I'm just sitting
it's
there
got to go.
scratching and I'm like, okay, I can't handle
Hmm.
it anymore. And I've tried the conditioner and I've
Yep,
tried the Dove shampoo and all that stuff and the sensitive skin it just doesn't work
it
and I
doesn't
just
work.
shave it.
Yeah, no, they're like the beard wash is key, and even the brushes and the combs are key. The comb's more of a detangler, but the brush is more of a controller.
Okay,
You know.
so going into that,
Mhm,
when your beard gets tangled,
mhm.
it's probably kind of painful, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've had varying lengths of beard. This is one of my more moderate, like conservative beards. I've
Okay.
had some down to chest length and stuff like that, and it gets tangled. So the comb, not only does it get tangled for different reasons, the hair, this and that, but if you eat food,
It gets in
it
there.
gets in it, especially soup. But the brush helps to actually detangle versus just mat it in. And once it's matted in, it's just a bit of a pain because everything you do to it seems to pull. And if you have any kind of, sensitivity to the skin or even some unhealthy roots, I mean, it's going to come out in little follicles here and there. What you don't want, you want the natural loss of follicle that's just life. You don't want to pull patches out. You don't want to pull, healthy hair,
Right.
and the brush helps to actually preserve that.
Okay. Well, what happens if it gets like when it does get tangled? Do you have
Mhm.
to kind of sit there? I know women have when they've got longer hair. Obviously, I don't have this problem,
Mhm.
but women when they have longer hair, they have to start at the very tip of their hair and kind of just work their way up slowly until they get it
Yeah,
all detangled. Is that kind of the same thing you have to do with your beard, or do you just have to kind of give up and just snip it?
it is. I mean, one of the bonuses is there's not as much hair as say on a woman's head, in that sense or that example. But what you'd want to do is one, wash it because if it's tangled, there might be a cause, and just a good beard wash at that point would come in handy to detangle, declutter whatever's going on in your beard, and then the comb after that, especially while it's damp, and then a good beard oil. So this is where you get into other products like beard oils and balms because they kind of preserve and continue to nourish the beard throughout the day. But the oil, if you put it in after you're out of the shower, your body's set up to actually absorb more of the content, but also it's nice because it lubricates essentially the hair whenever you brush it.
Okay.
So when you comb it or brush it, it's actually making the detangling process a little bit simpler. It's kind of like there's this spray we put in my daughter's hair, some kind of detangling
Oh yeah,
conditioner.
yeah. We got some strawberry stuff for the kids
Yeah,
when they were real
you'll
little.
spray it, and it's a whole lot less, a lot less tears. Let's just say,
Yeah.
and screaming, because of pulling the tangles. And instead, it just kind of seamlessly goes through.
Okay. Like PB blaster on a car bolt.
Yeah, yeah. Just cleans it up, makes it smoother.
All
So,
right. Nice.
mhm.
Well, I appreciate. Do you have any other tips for us on beards?
I mean, the biggest thing on it really is the more care you give to it, the more responsive it'll be. So if you neglect it, it's going to be a hot mess. Uh, for me, I mean, I don't always use product in it now. I just do whenever I need to. But a lot of that's because I mean, I take different steps. Like every day when I wash it, or every few days when I wash it, I use shampoo. I use the right kind of conditioner and care for it. But anytime that I take off from that regimen, usually I end up with either sensitive, areas like where the skin gets so dry or the hair is kind of unhealthy. And at that point, I mean, it takes a whole lot more work to try to fix what you could have prevented. And that's really the key. Take care of it consistently, and then you don't really have to worry about resolving any kind of issue with it later on, which takes a whole lot more work.
I got one last question
Mhm.
for you. So you said you go to a barber to
Mhm.
get it trimmed up and stuff every
Yeah.
few weeks. Why would you go to a barber versus doing it yourself or having a buddy just kind of take the snippers to it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the easiest answer on that is we all have blind spots, gaps that we can't necessarily get. I mean, I can lean my head so far back, but then I can't see what's going on over here. A barber is someone that's been trained to do it the right way, to set it up in a way that actually is more sustainable long term. Um, but as far as when it comes down to the care of it, they don't have the blind spots that I do. They get to see it from a new set of eyes, and I think there are times where we can be completely blind to what it is that we need to do in a certain area, and then later on, that's when it comes back to get us. It's like, wow, this really got out of hand really quickly. From a beard's perspective, all of a sudden, this undergrowth area comes in, and you're wondering why you feel like you're in a 120-degree room and your neck is itchy and this and that. It's because the undergrowth wasn't cut back because I can't see it that well. But my barber, every time, straightens it up. And then they also get the stray random little ear hair or neck hair, nose hair, all of these things. And those are just things that sometimes we just miss.
Right.
So, skilled eyes help overcome those blind spots.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
So what we've heard a little bit from Wesley is that going out to a barber is a good idea because they can see stuff that we can't necessarily see. And
Mhm.
then talking about bamboo brushes and
Mhm.
boar hair brushes allow you to keep things detangled. And when you look at IT, it's very similar to um, beards in the sense that you look at a networking closet. If
Mhm.
it's well maintained, the cable's going to be correctly fitted. They're going to be positioned in a way that allows you to be able to see what's going on, and everything's going to be nice, neat, and orderly.
Mhm.
But then beyond, the beard hair network cabling correlation there, we're talking about barbers, and the
Mhm.
barber has better visibility. They can see what's going on. And when you're talking about managed services with regard to beards. Having the outside people there who know what they're doing can have better visibility than what you can have internally. They can see problems before they become problems and help you get those corrected, like the neck hair and the
Yeah.
itching. They can see those and kind of get them cut back so that it's able to grow properly and not be irritating to you. It's the same thing with a managed service provider. It's our job to see what you can't see, monitor what you can't monitor,
Mhm.
and be able to make sure that things continue to run smoothly so that it's not an irritant to you.
Yeah.
Um, so Wesley, I appreciate your time today. I
Happy
know your time is valuable, and so is everybody who's viewing this today. But again, thank you very much for coming out and sharing a little bit about beards. I learned a lot from it already, and hopefully some people got some information about how to grow a beard and not itch, because I'm sure there's more guys out there that are like me who wish they could grow a beard
Mhm.
and not have it itch, and they get about 1 week into it and they go, I'm done, I can't handle it, and they cut it all off again and end up back with the flavor saver or
Yeah.
clean shaven and looking nice. And just for from a sales standpoint, there are a lot of people who see sales as a point that, well, beards actually help and allow people to have a little bit more trust, just a little bit of facial hair. Statistically speaking, that's what is there. And I don't know why, but that's what I've been told. It's not why I've got my little patch of fur down here, but it does apparently help in the way of sales.
Mhm.
So,
My wife thinks I look better with it, so that's a bonus.
well, yeah, that always helps.
Yeah.
So,
My main customer.
all right. Thanks so much, Wesley. You have a great day.
All right.